Okay, some of the corners that must not be rushed on exit, and I do want to be real specific about this. Corners you don't want to rush on exit. 5, 6, 8, 10, and 11. And obviously, each of those corners is a corner leading up to a main straight. So while you want to get on the gas early and hard, if you get on it too early, obviously you end up doing one of those Troy Bayliss, no hand seat grab. Now the toss over the bar is a high side. So.
And that one not very good because you have a concrete wall there. Yeah. So be very careful right there.
Another point there about 11 that a lot of guys might notice that the race line goes right over the pit out line. So there's that yellow line right there for the folks who are supposed to be pit out. And this is one of those tracks where you really got to get plenty of lead-in warning and pull over to the side as you're coming down 10 if you're going to come out early. You have a problem or whatever, or just at the end of the session when we're exiting, pull way over to the side and know that guys who are in the race line are going to be coming right into the middle of turn 11, right across there. So just be aware of it.
Hey guys, there's a rumple strip out there, the red and white checkered area. If you're exiting in the middle of a session and you know people are coming up on you, have your hand up all the way down that straightaway and give it a check before you leave to see if someone's coming up quick. And if someone's coming up quick, just go out over that rumple strip. It's not going to hurt your bike. And that way you're going to give them as much room as possible and nobody's going to get together. You guys have to be very, very aware when exiting the track here because it is in such close quarters with people who are actually still riding. Obviously from what he said, it's slick. So make sure you get a good lap and a half in. If you don't have tire warmers to get them warmed up, just be careful. It's just going to be one of those mornings where we're going to have to watch everything very closely. What's up, man?
Turn 1 looks good. Can they feel it? I get shade down or something?
Going into that first flip flop? No, that's fine. Stand close to the curves. A lot of the places you see around here, in 1 and 2, all through here in 5, you'll see that there's like sealer, the Rhino sealer, and then there's a 2-foot space in the curb. You want to stay between that sealer and the curb. It's the same place in here up through turn 10. Turn 10, there's a lot of the whipping back and forth. You come off 9, you can go straight into 10. There's no reason. You clear the curving here at 9, just pick it up and head straight to 10. You want to keep it tight in that corner and, just get a good drive at the top to get out on the straightaway. But it's another one of those where there's sealer and Rhino and crap all out here. Just stay inside of it. There's no point in going over it. It's not going to help your drive to get way the hell out wide and then come back. So just keep it fairly tight and ride it out. Also through here, 7 and 8. In the round robin, I saw a lot of instructors leading people like way out to the edge of the track. There's no need for it. You can see the track is split into thirds. A third in a seam, a third in a seam, and your outside third. This one, like that the first outside seam, the first third outside, you just sit on that seam and run it all the way in here and turn it in. And this is another one where you want to stay tight because if you run wide, you're going to totally miss turn 8. You'll be on the inside of it and it'll shoot you off the track. So slow it down early. Use the brake markers. This place is actually good because they have numbered brake markers out there, and I don't know if my group is watching, but when we go by that first set, I would sit there and do that. That's to use these. They're here, they got to be in here, here, and here. At all the end of the long straightaways, they have really good brake markers, and from what I can tell, they don't move around that much, so you don't have to worry about them like cones and somebody kicking them over, and you coming by the next lap and your brake marker is 20 feet out from what it was. So use those. And because of all the sealer patches and stuff, you have a great number of reference points here. There's places on this track where it's sealer or something that I know it's never going to go away, and I can come here, weekend after weekend after weekend. It's going to be the same thing, and I can use this sealer patch or this, split in the seam or something like that where I can see that and know that's my turning point, or I need to run that over as I'm going through the corner if that's what I need. So make sure you start picking up reference points, guys.
Reference points are a big key out on the track, man. It's like you was mentioning, really focusing on braking markers, focusing on spots on the track, especially on the brakes where you're going to turn things like that you always want to keep aware of, and make sure you're thinking while you're out there, because it really helps out. Because, you know, I'm sure you guys noticed that turns 7 and 8 was pretty slick. There's a lot of corners that were pretty slick. So
Even as slow as you're hilling.
yeah, so I mean it's a little bit sketchy out there right now. So I mean you just want to build into it and really feel that grip level out before you start pushing it.
Usually about that.
Yeah, I mean you want to be on the balls of your feet. Like I said, the really important factor here is just, for me at least, that helps me, is just that weight on the outside peg. Do the corners. Counter down.
What about the forearms? You always keep it close to the
forearms,
tank?
right? Well, thanks for bringing that up. That's one of those things that you want to keep a loose grip on the bars. A good thing is just to keep that outside arm relaxed. Keep it rested up against the gas tank. So here, it gives me a really good feel for the throttle. I'm not like way up here, motocross style, but I'm down in the bike. I'm just kind of part of the bike at that point. So it's all on the lower body. You don't want to have ever too much pressure on the bars, because that's where it's going to get upset and maybe get yourself in a situation. So, but just always remember, back right on the edge of the seat. You can always have about one cheek on and feel pretty good. So.
Just a point on weighting the pegs. In fact, actually in the written information it talks about weighting the inside peg as you're going into a corner. And then on the exit, you're weighting the outside peg because you're trying to stand the bike back up again to get the power on as early as possible. Really cool pictures where the guys are exiting kind of crossed up because they're on the rear wheel, but they're trying to stand the bike up to get as much contact patch as possible for the earliest drive possible. So both those things work in concert.